Coming up on this edition of Mustang News, we revisit the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with an artist lecture series. Plus, we take a look at the upcoming production of the musical URINETOWN. All this and more coming up.
Hello and welcome to Mustang News. I'm Jacob Smith.
And I'm Morgan Hare. Students go to Moffett Library every day to study, but how much do you really know about the library and what's inside? Library employee Ryan Samuelson takes us on a tour of Moffett Library and the rare book collection.
Welcome to Moffett Library. Have you used the library before? Okay. Well, outside we do have the lobby that you move through. Off to the right-hand side here is a computer lab. That's an open computer lab. You're more than welcome to use it as long as they're not using it for a class. Here we also have the Starbucks that you probably saw. And that's going to be open anytime that the classes are in session. Off to your left-hand side here is the circulation desk. This is where you would go to actually check out books. Okay, the area we're in right now is called periodicals, and this is where you'd find magazines and things of that nature. There are also another thing back here which is called microfiche and microfilm. This is microfiche. This is microfilm. It's the same sort of idea with the microfiche, except in this case, instead of a little tiny piece of plastic, it's a big, long strip of plastic. We're in an area called leisure reading now. So if you pull up anything in the catalog that says back in leisure reading, this is the area it's talking about. We'll turn to the second floor. Now the area we're in right now is called CML. This is an area they put together for the education department. What they did is the education department asked us to pull all the books that you would normally find at like a school library, so like a middle school library or a high school library, something along those lines. This is the media department, or as the students often say, oh my God, we have movies. Besides DVDs, we also have, if you want to come here and actually see, we actually have a number of laptops, iPads, GoPros, that also check out the students as well. That's what's in all those cases right there. These are individual study rooms and our group study rooms. Again, all you have to do to check one of these out is going to go to the front desk where you saw all the keys hanging up. Tell them you either want a group room, tell them either you want an individual room, or if you're here with a large group of people, if you're here with like 3 other people, you can get a group room. We have one final stop and then we're done. And this is our last stop. You may not know this, but this library has one of the most unique, rare, and valuable collections of printed materials in the world. And you are standing in the middle of it. This is something called the Nolan Moore Heritage Print Collection. This was a private collection collected by a man named Nolan Moore. That's his picture right there. He lived here in Wichita Falls. This is a collection he put together during his lifetime. When he died, a number of different universities, such as Yale and I think Harvard, wanted to get their, I take that back, I think it was UT Austin wanted to get their hands on this collection. The family talked about it for a while, but they eventually decided to go ahead and leave the collection here at MSU, provided we allow people to actually come inside and actually view the material and stuff like that. Now, I said it was very rare and valuable. If you want an example of what I mean by that, do you know what a Gutenberg Bible is? The Gutenberg Bible was the first book ever published. The first book ever printed on a printing press and ever published, ever put together and actually published. If you want to see what one looks like, there's one right over there. Those pages you see standing right there, those are actual pages from the first book ever published. Here is a bill of sale from the 1820s for a human being. back when slavery was legal. Over here we have something called a Kemscott Chaucer. Now I've done this tour lots of times, and I'm always surprised what various people get excited about. This is the end of my tour. You're more than welcome to stay here as long as you want and walk around, look at some of the stuff that's in here. And obviously I went through everything quite quickly. I mean, if you have more time, you can come through here. Currently this is closed, but it was open just before we came in here. We do have a student that comes in. The hours are posted on the door. You're more than welcome to come in at those times. If you want to come up here and make an appointment to come up, like if you have friends or family that are in town that you want to show them off, look. You actually, I'm actually getting a degree from a really neat college that has really neat stuff or something like that. Again, you can always make an appointment, and we'll be glad to open this up for you.
If you're interested in learning more about Moffett and the rare book collection, schedule a tour at the library.
The latest Artist Lecture Series took place on January 22nd. Historian and the Dean of Student Equity at Skyline College in San Bruno, California, Lasan Ohotep, presented the second Artist Lecture Series of the semester. His talk focused on the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hotep lectured on King's belief that economic injustice, the difference in wealth distribution amongst races, was the driving force of racism.
What is Dr. King's legacy? A lot of times people assume Dr. King's legacy to be a legacy about bringing around racial reconciliation and racial harmony. That was an aspect, but he also had an aspect about economic justice. And if we look at the lens of economic justice, we'll see that we're further away from his legacy than we actually thought we were in terms of examining from a lens of racial harmony.
Hotep spoke about America's progress regarding Dr. King's teaching and suggested citizens continue to focus on racial disparity and economic injustice. As of now, there is no scheduled Artist Lecture Series for the rest of the semester.
But if you're looking for an event to attend, come see MSU's production of URINETOWN. Reporter Latoya Fondren has more on the story.
That's right, Morgan. Every 4 years, the Midwestern State Theater Department puts on their very own musical performance. This year, the department chose to undertake the production of URINETOWN. URINETOWN is a comedy filled with satire and irony. The musical themes that mock systems of bureaucracy, capitalism, and politics. We spoke to future music and psychology major Stephen Kintner about his feelings on his upcoming performance.
I'm very excited. This is my first university production, probably the first of many. I'm coming to this college next fall, so I'm really excited to be able to meet people and I already have friends as soon as I go into the university.
Stephen says that the rehearsal process for a university production has challenged him, but also allowed for more personal growth.
It's a lot more is expected of you here. It's a lot, you have to hold your own, and you have to, nobody's gonna hold your hand. And it's a lot more fun, I think. It gives me a lot more freedom to perform and to be able to make the character my own. But I have worked at the Wichita Theater, and it's a lot more, I wouldn't say the talent levels are different, or even the production levels are so much different, but the professionalism is a lot more apparent in this theater. And it's a lot more of an adult audience and cast, and it's a lot more fun to work with.
URINETOWN premieres on February 22nd and runs through March 3rd. URINETOWN will be performed in the Fane Fine Arts Theater, and admission for students, faculty, and staff is free.
Thank you, Latoya.
Earlier this week, we took a look around campus, observing just how many students were glued to their phones. That's it for this edition of Mustang News.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MNG Media and like us on Facebook. Be sure to tune in for the next time for your campus news.